All right, part C. At 8 p.m., volunteers begin to process the entries. They process the entries at a rate. All right, so this is a rate modeled by the function P of t equals t cubed minus 30t squared plus 298t minus 976 in hundreds of entries per hour from 8 to 12. According to the model, how many entries had not yet been processed by midnight? So to figure this out, we need to take into account two things. We're going to take the total number of entries minus the number of entries processed from 8 to 12. Right? Does that make sense? Now it's just a matter of fitting in what those numbers are. Well, total number of entries, if we look back at our table, that's what it's telling us. It's the hundreds of entries that are in there. So after 8 hours, there's 2,300 entries. Since this rate is in hundreds of entries, I'm not going to change this 23 to 2,300. We can just leave it as 23. And then like at the end, we can change our answer in terms of hundreds of entries. So the total number of entries, we've got 23, which really means 2,300, minus the number of entries processed. Well, we have a rate, we have a time interval to find out how much has been processed over that time. We're doing the definite integral from 8 to 12 of that rate, so of P of t dt. So this is what we're trying to figure out. Right? Definite integral over a period of time tells us how much change has happened over that time when we have a rate inside of that. So we can do this in our calculator. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clear this. I'm going to go ahead and put this function in for y sub 1. Because I know that we're going to end up using it for this part problem and for part D. So rather than having to type it in a few times, we can leave it this way. So there's our function for P of t. We want to figure out what 23 minus the definite integral of that function from 8 to 12 is. So we're going to do 23 minus math 9, evaluate the definite integral from 8 to 12 of y sub 1. So vars, y vars, function, y sub 1. And we're doing that in terms of x. So we end up getting an answer of 7. So that means we're going to have 700 entries left. All right, by midnight, they haven't finished all the 2,300. They've only gotten through 1,600. They have 700 entries left over.